Hello everyone, welcome to Pankaj Strategy Talks, and today's topic is the ultimate entrepreneur survival guide, what not to do when starting a business with Pankaj Chawla. This is a three-part series. Part 1 is covering mindset and planning traps. In this video, you will understand the wrong reasons to start a business and the planning mistakes that kills startup earlier. Part 2, executional and marketing traps. This will cover team, visibility, customers and systems. How operational blind spot sink great ideas. So in the part 3, you will understand about growth, strategies and survival frameworks. This will cover clarity, capability and character, plus integrity. And finally, the ultimate checklist. Now we'll move to part 1.
Do you know what is scarier than starting a business? Starting with not knowing what not to do in your business. Because here's the truth, every failed entrepreneur stood exactly where you are standing right now. Hopeful, hungry, motivated and unaware of the landmines under the excitement. They didn't fail overnight. They failed one decision at a time. Wrong hires, bad cash flow math, delayed marketing, unchecked ego, an extra dash of confidence with a missing teaspoon of research. Every failure leaves a fingerprint. The same red flags repeated across industries. Wrong timing, weak planning, bad hiring, unchecked ego disguised as confidence. And the worst part, most of these are invisible when you start. We glorify the success stories, the unicorns, the multimillionaires, the billion-dollar valuations, but no one wants to study the autopsies of 80% entrepreneurs who closed their shops quietly. Yet, that's where the real reasons and learnings hide. Welcome to the part 1, the mindset and planning traps. Let's start building your immunity one smart decision at a time. Hi, I'm Pankaj Chawla, business strategist and founder of MSME Strategy Consultants. For years, I have worked with entrepreneurs across continents and watched average ideas come brilliant businesses just by discipline and overpowering the great ones. And the secret is, success isn't about what you do. It is about what you refuse to do as well. Let's understand that in detail. It starts with the mindset. And the first wrong mindset is that you start with ego and not empathy. You know, I meet with hundreds of founders every year, and what I notice is they all come with great energy. But some also carry an abundant amount of baggage, which is called ego. Ego makes you believe that you are destined to create something big, different from the rest and better than everyone else, which may sound like a confidence, but it is always not, because there is a thin line where confidence says we will all do it together, whereas the ego says I know it all. And the moment that happens, you stop listening to your mentors, to your customers, to your employees, to every other person. Let me share a real story. A former banker once I coached wanted to make a mark by building a delivery app and proving his point. He was brilliant, but he was building with emotion. His purpose was to make sure that his ex-company, his friends, should believe that he is capable of building another competition to a first-class delivery app. He hired 15 employees without even having first 5 paying customers. Beautiful office, logos printed, website polished, but guess what? No one needed what he was selling because it wasn't built on customer needs, but it was built on his validation. That business did not fail because of technology or competition. That business simply failed because of ego blindness. Here is the truth. Entrepreneurship is not a stage to perform. It is a lab to solve. When your customer's relief starts to become your own joy and success, that is where you should understand that you've started to build something which has a value in the eyes of the customer. Because that is the right reason to do the business. Therefore, ask yourself every time, am I impressing someone or am I actually solving a problem? This single difference separates temporary founders from the long-lasting ones. Number 2, waiting for perfection. Perfection has killed more startups than competition ever did. This is one of the most dangerous lie that we tell to ourselves. I will start once the product is perfect. Let me add one more feature. Or I will start just after this festive season. And you know what happens? 6 months pass. Nothing happens. Competition appears. The market moves forward and suddenly your perfect idea becomes an outdated one. And I always say, markets reward the speed of learning and not speed of launching. And most successful businesses did not start perfectly. They started consistently. Amazon started by selling books online. Google started with one single search bar. Even KFC's first outlet had a 60-year-old founder cooking chicken from a roadside motel. They all improved publicly and not privately. And here is a rule of thumb: build small, launch faster, learn fastest, and start with the pilot. Just one product, just one ad, just one offer, maybe just 10 genuine customers, and use their feedback as R&D for your business. Because business isn't built in your head, it is built in your customers' hands. Just think about this. Perfection delays progress, but progress creates perfection over time. Next, chasing trends, not problems. Let's talk about the shiny trap, which is trends. Every few months, world falls in love with a new buzzword. Yesterday it was crypto, today it is AI, tomorrow it will be something else. And I see founders rushing to these trends without even asking one simple question: what real problem does it solve and for whom? See, trends will give you visibility, but solving the real problems is the one thing which will give you stability and viability. Everyone can ride a wave, but only few can create one. Trends fade, but problems stay. Think about it. Transportation, health, communication, education, finance. These are not trends. These are real struggles of daily life. Smart entrepreneurs do not follow hype. They find friction. Friction is a gap between what people already have and what they wished could they have it. And that is where the real opportunity lies. Let me give you a quick case. During the pandemic, every other company wanted to be an online education service provider. Exciting, yes, but sustainable? No. The few that survived were the ones who solved the real pain. For example, online skill training institute for teachers to ensure that they digitally transform and adapt the digital classroom behavior. They didn't chase the buzzword, but they chased the real pain points. So ask yourself one honest question before starting anything new. If the hype dies tomorrow, will my customers still need this or not? If your answer is yes, congratulations. You have hit the right business spot and that becomes your purpose. If the answer to this question is no, then just step back and realize that you were surfing on someone else's tide. Next is relying on motivation instead of discipline. And motivation, the energy drink of entrepreneurship. Everyone wants it, loves it, and feels invincible when they have it. But it is like caffeine. It wears off quickly. Motivation wakes you up early in the morning, but discipline makes you work the late night as well. But the truth is, nobody always every day feels motivated. Not even the top leaders. What keeps moving is habit. I'll tell you what I've observed in successful small business owners. They will all have anchor points. A 30-minute morning routine habit, maybe for reading, podcast, introspection, whatever. 1 hour daily devoted to customer connection, messages, follow-up, calls. A fixed Friday review meeting just to check what worked and what did not work. Small rituals compound over time. And other founders just wait for the inspiration. And that never comes. They build consistency. And consistency always beats the bursts of motivation. Discipline is the only bridge between imagination and income. So, next time when you feel demotivated, don't look for a pep talk on YouTube. Open your checklist and start taking the small wins. Remember this line and maybe pin it to your desk. Motivation builds excitement, but discipline builds empires. So my wrap up on the mindset. Before you chase funds, followers and fancy offices, fix your foundation. Because what's inside the founder always leaks into the business. If the mindset wobbles, the company collapses. Let's recap your mental immunity plan. Replace ego with empathy, so you serve before you show. Replace perfection with progress, so you launch, learn and evolve. Replace trends with timeless needs, so you solve the real pain points. And replace motivation with discipline. Focus on building habits and not hype. I often remind my clients, your business is a mirror of your mindset. Clean the glass and everything starts to look clearer for future. Let's move to the next level, which is the planning mistakes that slows down the growth of any organization. So first in the planning mistakes is ignoring the market validation. Let's talk about the most common heartbreak story in entrepreneurship. That is building something no one asked for. So many founders fall in love with their idea and not their customers. They spend months and years building something, curating, doing good website, designing products, packaging, etc. without even asking one simple question. That is, does anyone even want this? A good idea is seductive. It feels like destiny, but the market does not pay for your wish list. It pays for solutions to its own problems. Here is what I call a 10-day rule. Spend 10-day testing before spending 10 lakh in producing. Talk to real customers. Ask 5 ugly but realistic questions. Number 1, what is your biggest pain right now? Number 2, how do you currently solve it? Number 3, why does that solution frustrate you? Number 4, would you pay for an easier solution to that? Number 5, would you try my solution if that existed today? Those answers are pure gold for you, and every no that you hear is a pure free market research. Here is a real story. A young pastry chef in Lucknow launched a luxury French dessert cafe, convinced that people love Persian finesse. She forgot that she lives in a city where people love chai, samosas and gulab jamun. Within 3 months, crowd loved the decor but not the bills. Eventually, she pivoted to desi fusion bakes. Think like a gulab jamun cheesecake, and tripled her footfall in just 60 days. Learning, validation, adaptation and success. So if the market doesn't clap, stop performing the same song. Change the tune until it dances with the demand. So talk before you build. Next is misunderstanding money. That is the unit economics trap. Now this is the biggest illusion in the business. That is, you confuse revenue for profits. You see, 1 crore in sales means nothing if it costs you 1.1 crore to make it happen. Many first-time founders treat sales as a success story. But the real test is whether each unit sold contributes a rupee to your profit or takes the one away. That's called the unit economics, which is the math of survival. It is strategic. The 3 numbers every founder must sleep and wake up with are the COGS, that is the cost of goods sold, which is what does it cost you to make one product or serve one customer. Second is CAC, which is customer acquisition cost, which is advertising, commission, discounts, whatever you pay to get that one customer in. Third is the lifetime value or the LTV. That is over how long and how often that same customer will buy again and again from you. If your CAC, that is customer acquisition cost, is more than the profit that you're making per customer, then you are actually paying the customer rather than earning from him. Similar was the story of a gadget seller in Mumbai. He ran massive discount ads to build traffic. The result was the orders poured in. For 3 months, his Shopify store looked booming. But when we analyzed, we found out that he was losing 112 rupees per order. That was after paying the influencers and the couriers. Which means the more the orders, the more you were sinking. He thought the speed was momentum, but the real momentum is math plus management. So repeat after me. Logic before luxury. Yes, logic before luxury. Keep the office furniture until your formulas add up. Cash flow awareness is the confidence 101. Next gap is believing that funding fixes flaws. That's the funding fantasy. Everyone believes that the funding in the business will wash away all the flaws in the organization, and somehow magically every problem will vanish. Let me break that myth for you. Funding is like sunlight. It helps healthy plants grow faster, but it also kills the weak ones faster. Money does not fix the confusion, it magnifies it. If you lack clarity, every rupee raised will increase the chaos in the organization. I saw a Bangalore startup raised 3 crores in 9 months. What happened? They planned parties for investors, they moved to a bigger office, they hired expensive staff members. In 9 months, all the money dried up. Why? Because no customers, no revenue model, and no discipline. Please understand, capital is not the business model. It is just the fuel. Operate lean before you raise, not after. Prove your direction, prove your discipline, and then accept investment as the accelerator. Bootstrapping, that is using your own funds to create a business, forces you to think creatively and find solutions faster. That brings in the efficiency. And then when you finally invite investors, you are negotiating from the confidence of building a business and not out of desperation. So always remember, capital multiplies 3 things: clarity, competence, and chaos. Choose which one are you ready to multiply with. The next one is no personal financial plan. Most entrepreneurs think their business finance as their personal finance, like a married couple sharing a wallet, and that's very dangerous. The reality is, you cannot build professional stability in a personal chaos. Your business is not your ATM, and in the first few years, bills arrive first before cash flow actually comes in. So it is very, very fragile. So what the founders do? They start skipping the rent, they start borrowing from credit cards, they postpone insurance, they cut the family budgets, thinking that someday business will repay them back. But when the home life breaks, the office life and the focus follows. Family stress becomes the financial stress, and financial stress becomes the operational stress. You need a separate personal runway, at least 3 to 6 months worth of personal funds saved beyond and other than the business funds. Pay yourself a symbolic salary. That is not at all a greed, that is grounding. A client running a design studio built an amazing business but did not take any salary for first 18 months. Finally, when his child's school fee was due, he picked up the money from customer advance. Now what happened? One bounce payment later, his professional credibility suffered. Today, he pays himself 20,000 rupees a month religiously because financial boundaries are very important to build great foundations. Personal finance isn't selfish, it is strategic self-care. You can't make smart business choices with a survival mindset. That's the main challenge. So if you are starting right now, think about these traps not as theory but as habits. The costliest mistake in entrepreneurship is rarely technical. They are behavioral. We plan for customers but not for our own decisions. Self-awareness is the cheapest and the strongest insurance policy for your failures. In part 2 of this series, we'll move from thinking wrong to doing wrong, talking about execution and marketing blunders that kill the growth of any business. Because planning might start the fire, but execution keeps it burning. Till then, stay strategic and keep growing.